Hi everybody, Matt Bernier, joined by DRF's national handicapper Mike Watchmaker, taking a look at this Saturday's Weekend Warrior for Saturday, September the 16th. Let's start off north of the border, Mike. It's the premier day of the Woodbine meeting. It is Woodbine Mile Day, and let's start off with race number 12. It is the Woodbine Mile. $800,000 of the purse. It's a one-turn mile up on the turf course, and you're going to go with the horse that has had success in this race in the past. That's Mondial East.
I am, and Mondial East is 8-1 on the morning line, and I don't know if he'll be that high, but I think he's a horse that might fall through the cracks a little bit from a betting standpoint because his form this year in England looks pretty spotty, and that's okay with me because Mondial East seems to be a completely different horse when he comes to North America. I mean, he showed it last year when he came over here and he won the Arlington Million, which I thought was a big feather in his cap and an indictment on the rest of that Arlington Million field in 2016 because Mondial East is a straight-up miler. I believe it. I'm firmly convinced of it. And the fact that he was able to win the mile-and-a-quarter Arlington Million speaks well to his gameness, but it also didn't say a lot for that field. But then he came back with, I thought, a very good fourth in the Shadwell Turf Mile. He was really rolling in the late stages of that race. He finished just behind Tourist, who came back to win the Breeders' Cup Mile. And then for some mysterious reason, Mondial East was put in the mile-and-a-half Breeders' Cup Turf. He was a total fish out of water in that spot. The race is a toss-out, as is his race in the Dubai Turf, which was not only a spot that was much too tough for him, but also at a mile and an eighth too long for him. In 2015, Mondial East came over from Europe with very moderate running lines, much like he has now, and he won the Woodbine Mile, and he beat an arguably stronger field. He beat Lee, and obviously they were the second and third finishers that day, and I thought that field was probably better than this one. And then he came back and he finished second to Tepin in the Breeders' Cup Mile. I mean, this is a horse, he's getting back to what he wants to do, which is running the mile races, and he's doing it in North America, which he clearly loves. Maybe it's the Lasix, I don't know, but all of his best races have been here. And I think he's going to offer some value in the race. For me, it's all Mondial East in this Woodbine Mile.
You brought up last year's Arlington Million, a horse that ran in that race, as well as this year's Arlington Million is DeVille. You figure he's going to take his fair share of money just simply based on connections. You've got Jamie Spencer coming over for Aidan O'Brien. What were your overall thoughts on his effort in this year's Arlington Million, and where do you think he stands up here in this Woodbine Mile?
Well, Deauville finished third to Mondial East in last year's Arlington Million. Like you mentioned, Matt, he was a 3-year-old at the time. He's a 4-year-old now, and he was the favorite in the Arlington Million. And he finished third, I thought, this year to Beach Patrol, and I thought without an excuse. Now, he might relish the significant cutback in distance to a mile because after all, 3 starts back, he was a very good third in a Group 1 during the Royal Ascot meet going a mile. So maybe a mile is really what he wants to do. But the thing about Deauville is that he has shown a tendency to be unable to close the deal, especially in Group 1 races. And I'm just wondering if he isn't a bit of a trap in this spot as a horse who I think will be the favorite.
The most likely, as far as the domestic hopes are concerned from a betting standpoint, what the public figures to go toward is the horse down the inside. That's World Approval coming off the heels of a victory in the Grade 1 4-star. Dave, he's done some good things in the past. A mile seems to be really right in his wheelhouse. He's going to be a shortish number. He's probably going to be the shortest of the domestic hopes in here. Where do you think he stacks up?
Well, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he won. I wouldn't be surprised if Deauville won. But I'm against World Approval for this reason. While I give him credit for winning his last 3 starts and races at 9 furlongs and under, his win last time out in the Grade 1 4-star David Saratoga and his win 3 back in the Dixie at Pimlico were on off-turf courses. And this is a horse who clearly moves up on off-turf courses. And given the weather forecast for Rexdale, Ontario this week, he's not going to get that kind of footing in this race. And I don't think he's as good on the kind of firm footing he's going to get on Saturday.
The Grade 1 Woodbine Mile, it is the highlight event of the entire Woodbine meeting, and it is Saturday afternoon. Mike's going to go with the number 8, Mondial East. He's already won this race in the past. Hopefully he can wheel back here 2 years later and get the job done again.